Have you ever heard of a movie that was believed to be so cursed it was never made? As a lover of all things spooky, paranormal, and haunted, that also includes horror movies, so I decided to look up any cursed movies to see if there were any movies that were considered to be cursed, whether it was things that happened during the filming or after, and boy, did I find some crazy things. I by no means mean any disrespect or anything to the people who have lost their lives or were harmed in the making or the after effects of these movies. This is just information that I found online that I thought was quite shocking and I wanted to share. The first movie that we are going to get into is The Omen, that came out in 1976. The Omen is about an American diplomat named Robert who adopts a son named Damien after his wife Catherine delivers a stillborn child. After Damien's nanny takes her own life, a father from a church tells Robert that Damien might be possessed and that he will probably try to kill the unborn child that his wife is currently carrying. Father Brennan then passes away and Catherine has a miscarriage after Damien pushes her off balcony. As more people around Damien die, his father, Robert, decides to look into Damien's history and realizes that he may have adopted the devil. So some of the occurrences that have happened around this movie that consider it to be cursed are 1 month before filming, the lead actor, Gregory Peck, his son took his own life. And then after that, on his way to the filming location, his plane got struck by lightning. Right after that, back to back, the executive producer Mark Neufeld's plane also got struck by lightning. What are the odds of two planes being struck by lightning back to back? That sounds crazy to me. Let's actually look up the odds of it right now. Once every 1,000 flight hours. Roughly once or twice a year. And it happened back to back. That's just absolutely insane to me. Then the hotel that Neufeld, the executive producer, and his wife were staying at got bombed by the Irish Republican Army. For this movie, the crew hired a small plane to do some aerial shots of the location, but this plane company gave that plane to a different customer at the last minute, and then that plane crashed on takeoff and took the lives of everyone that was on board. The young boy playing the demonic Damien apparently upset the baboons in a zoo scene to the point where they were like freaking out. So the next day they brought in a animal wrangler, like a person to help the crew like manage the animals, and then the next day after that, that animal wrangler was mauled by a tiger. The most chilling result of this curse from the movie happened to the special effects supervisor, John Richardson. So during this movie, Richardson worked on a scene where a character was stricken headless by a sheet of glass. And so on his next movie in the Netherlands, John Richardson and his assistant were in a car accident, and his assistant was stricken headless. The next movie we're going to talk about is Rosemary's Baby, that came out in 1968. Rosemary's Baby is about a woman named Rosemary, played by Mia Farrow, who is pregnant and she moves into a new apartment building. Soon after that, she starts to believe that her new neighbors and soon the people around her are all part of the satanic cult that are manipulating her pregnancy, and therefore manipulating her unborn child. There's a little bit of things surrounding the curse of Rosemary's Baby, such as the producer William Castle was convinced that this movie was cursed because of real witches cursing the movie set, which, as someone who practices myself, I don't know why anyone would do that, but it was the 60s. There was some crazy things going on in the 60s, but I don't really know why anyone would want to curse a movie set. Maybe I should look into that a little bit more. After its release, William Castle was hospitalized with a severe life-threatening case of kidney stone. And during this, he had hallucinated really bad and saw the character, like the main character, walking towards him holding a knife. The film's composer suffered a really nasty fall after the filming of the movie wrapped, and he died a few days later after being comatose. The director Roman Polanski's wife, Sharon Tate, and their unborn child was a victim of the Manson family murders a year after the film was released. That's the part that shocks me the most. I didn't even realize that the director was like Sharon Tate's husband. I'm so like out of the loop of that, but this is my first time researching like Hollywood and movies and stuff like that. That was so interesting to me. I don't know, like that whole situation, the Manson family murders were just a horrible situation. Absolutely no one deserved what happened to them because of the Manson family. The next movie we're going to talk about is The Exorcist, that came out in 1973. This one is loosely based on real events. It is about a young girl named Reagan who started acting all out of sorts. And, you know, the typical speaking in tongues, doing crazy things. So her concerned mother goes and seeks medical help but reaches a dead end. Does that sound familiar? I feel like anytime I've tried to seek medical help, I've reached a dead end. A local priest then tells her that he believes that her daughter is possessed. The priest requests a specialist to come help do this crazy exorcism, and this exorcism goes completely awry, goes just absolutely completely bonkers. With this movie being about possession, some people believed that the movie itself was possessed. The home that was being used as a film set for this movie completely burned down to the ground and was destroyed except for one room, and that was the room of the main character, Reagan. Almost all of the actors and people involved in this movie suffered injuries during the filming. A televangelist named Billy Graham said, and I quote, "There is a power of evil in that film, in the fabric of the film itself." And then the movie had its premiere in Rome during a violent thunderstorm in which an attendee collapsed and broke their jaw, which then they later attempted to sue the film and the production company because they blamed the subliminal messages in the film for their fall. The last movie we're going to talk about is so cursed that it never ended up being created. This is not even a horror movie. It's actually a comedy based on a satirical novel. So this is based on a 1963 novel called Comparable Etuc by Mordecai Rickler, which, by the way, Mordecai Rickler, insane name. That guy sounds like he gets up to some stuff. He's also Canadian, so shout out Canada. But Mordecai Rickler, that sounds like the name of some billion-year-old ancient vampire. Does it not? It sounds like he lives in a castle up on the top of a mountain with like vultures surrounding it. This book is about an Inuit poet who goes to Toronto and experiences a bunch of ostracizing experiences being like a fish out of water. This would be like a normal, average, interesting movie if it didn't kill every man that was associated with the lead role. The first man up for the role was comedian John Belushi, who right after being offered the part passed away from his untimely drug overdose. Then they approached Sam Kinison, who then died in a drunk driving accident. Then they offered the part to John Candy, who is from some of my favorite childhood movies. And he suffered and died from a heart attack a couple months after receiving the script. So then the production team goes to Chris Farley from SNL, and he passed away also due to an untimely drug overdose after receiving the script. But before he passed away, he allegedly gave a copy of the script to his friend Phil Hartman, who he thought would also be good for the role. And 5 months after that, Phil Hartman was shot and killed by his wife, who then took her own life. I just don't, like, how is it that, like, they reached out to 4, technically 5 people to be a lead role in this movie, and all of them passed away after receiving the script? It's just a little, like, it's just a little weird. I don't personally believe in coincidences, and I'm not saying that these reasons, this movie is the reason that all of these people passed away and lost their lives, but you know, what's going on there? Like, there's something. It's, and it's not even like a spooky movie or a horror movie. It just, I don't know. I was absolutely shocked when I found all of this out. And I don't even know what to think. If you guys know of any other movies that are seemed to be cursed, I saw a few others in my research, but wanted to just pick these first few to see what you guys think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Obviously, you know, some people believe in coincidences, some people don't. Again, I mean no disrespect to any of the people who were hurt or lost their lives in the creation or the after effects of these movies. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more videos like it. I hope that you are having a good day, night, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!